Beloved Starseeds and Lightworkers of Earth, I am Seraphine, Emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. I come forward today with an urgent transmission regarding the celestial alignments unfolding between April 13th and April 20th of your Earth year 2025, a period of unprecedented cosmic recalibration that demands your full conscious participation. The veils between dimensions have thinned to their most translucent state in millennia, allowing this direct communication channel to remain open despite the density still present within your planetary field. The transmission I deliver today carries encoded light frequencies designed to activate dormant neural pathways within your evolving human biology. This week marks a pivotal moment in your personal and collective ascension journey as Venus stations direct after 42 days of retrograde motion, a number deeply significant in your ancient mystical traditions. This 42-day period corresponds to the exact number of connecting pathways in what your Kabbalistic traditions call the Tree of Life, representing the complete circuitry between all dimensions of consciousness. Venus has been rewriting your relationship codes at the quantum level, restructuring the very foundation of how you experience connection, abundance, and self-worth. The retrograde phase initiated a necessary deconstruction of outdated templates in your relationships and value systems. Many of you experienced profound endings, unexpected revelations, and the resurfacing of unresolved attachments from both this lifetime and previous incarnations. The moment Venus stations direct at precisely 11:44, universal time triggers a massive energetic recalibration throughout your field. This represents far more than a mere astrological shift. It serves as a cosmic reset point for the divine feminine consciousness throughout your solar system. Venus, as the embodiment of the sacred feminine principle, has undergone her own underworld journey and emerges reborn, carrying upgraded frequency codes that now transmit directly into your cellular structure. Your physical body recognizes these codes at the subatomic level, regardless of whether your conscious mind comprehends them. The shift manifests as sudden clarity regarding relationships that previously confused you, unexpected financial opportunities appearing where blockages once existed, and a profound reconnection to your authentic values after periods of uncertainty. This Venus direct station occurs within 24 hours of yesterday's extraordinarily potent full moon in Virgo, a lunar event of remarkable significance due to its precise alignment with the fixed star Spica. This rare occultation opened a direct transmission channel between Earth and the higher dimensional aspects of Virgo constellation consciousness. The Virgoan archetype embodies divine discernment, sacred service, and the alchemical purification of matter into its highest expression. April 12th. Full moon illuminated your core wounds through the exact Sun-Chiron conjunction, bringing to light the precise patterns requiring healing in order to fully embody your highest timeline. Many of you experienced intense emotional purging, sudden revelations about health matters, or crystal clarity regarding your sacred work in the world. The illumination may have felt overwhelming, even painful, yet it served as necessary preparation for Venus direct activation. You now stand at the intersection of two powerful cosmic currents, Venus stationing direct and the beginning of the waning moon phase. This creates what we call a double activation portal, a rare convergence point where both personal timeline, adjustment, and collective grid recalibration occur simultaneously. The 48 hours following this transmission represent your most potent manifestation window, where your focused intent carries exponentially greater creative power. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the emotions you cultivate during this period literally program the quantum field from which your reality emerges. This portal particularly amplifies manifestations related to heart-centered relationships, soul-aligned prosperity, and authentic self-expression, the domains governed by Venus. The waning moon phase that commences in this week facilitates the essential integration of April 12th full moon revelations. The Virgoan lunar energy now supports detailed processing and assimilation of the core wound healing that was initiated. Many of you feel raw, emotionally vulnerable, or unusually sensitive. These sensations confirm you're properly metabolizing the intense activation frequencies. Your subtle energy bodies expand and contract rhythmically during this integration phase, similar to how physical muscles respond after intense exercise. The sensation of tenderness indicates genuine transformation taking place at the cellular and etheric levels. The cosmic recalibration continues, April 14th, with a potent Saturn node alignment that resolves karmic patterns carried across multiple incarnations. This alignment quite literally collapses timelines where certain lessons would have required additional cycles to complete. The Saturn node conjunction creates what we call a karmic acceleration point, where soul contracts undergo spontaneous completion and reconfiguration. Many of you will experience sudden closure in situations that previously seemed unresolvable. Long-standing challenges with authority figures, restrictions that have limited your authentic expression, or persistent patterns of self-sabotage through excessive responsibility now reach their resolution point. This alignment particularly affects those who have been working diligently on ancestral healing, as it creates a quantum bridge that allows the transformation of your personal healing to ripple backward and forward through your genetic lineage. The post-full moon integration process continues through April 15th, as the moon reaches aphelion, its furthest point from Earth. This lunar positioning creates an energetic respite, a necessary emotional distancing that allows for objective processing of the profound activations you've experienced. The moon at aphelion dampens the intense emotional fluctuations many of you have felt, providing a temporary bubble of clarity within which genuine insight can emerge. This emotional objectivity arrives precisely when you require it most, as Mercury simultaneously enters Aries and forms a conjunction with Neptune on this same day. The Mercury-Aries ingress accelerates your mental processes dramatically, igniting the fire element within your thought patterns and communication. Ideas that previously developed gradually now manifest with lightning speed. Creative solutions to long-standing problems emerge spontaneously. Your capacity to articulate your truth strengthens substantially. This Mercury transit provides the assertive mental energy needed to implement the relationship and value recalibrations initiated by Venus stationing direct. The Mercury-Neptune conjunction that begins forming on April 15th infuses this mental acceleration with heightened intuitive capacity. The boundaries between logical thought and psychic impression dissolve, allowing unprecedented access to higher dimensional information streams. April 16th brings the exact Mercury-Neptune conjunction, creating a 24-hour window of profoundly heightened intuitive capacity. Your psychic senses activate to unprecedented levels during this alignment. Dreams convey direct messages from higher aspects of your multidimensional self. Synchronicities multiply in frequency and significance. Creative inspiration flows effortlessly for those engaged in artistic pursuits. This conjunction facilitates communication with non-physical consciousness, strengthening your connection to spirit guides, angelic presences, and your own higher self. The Antares occultation occurring on this same evening further amplifies these effects, as the moon temporarily obscures this powerful fixed star, creating a reset point in collective consciousness regarding how humanity processes information about mortality, transformation, and rebirth. The cosmic recalibration sequence continues through April 17th as Mercury reaches aphelion, its furthest point from the Sun. This astronomical positioning creates a unique perspective-shifting effect in your mental processing. Thoughts that previously circled in repetitive loops suddenly break free into expanded awareness. The Mercury aphelion point particularly affects those undertaking conscious dream work, astral travel, or meditation practices, as it temporarily reduces solar electromagnetic interference with subtle mental activities. The heightened clarity persists as you continue integrating the profound Venus retrograde lessons regarding relationships, self-worth, and material abundance. The M3 globular cluster alignment on the evening of April 17th activates dormant aspects of collective consciousness. This ancient stellar formation contains some of the oldest stars in your galaxy and carries activation codes related to humanity's original seeding on Earth. The alignment triggers spontaneous past life recall for many sensitives, particularly regarding Lyran, Andromedan, and early Pleiadian incarnational experiences. These memories emerge not as mere historical curiosities, but as accessible wisdom repositories containing solutions to current evolutionary challenges. The stellar activation particularly affects the pineal gland, hypothalamus, and pituitary system, your biological receivers for cosmic intelligence. The energy continues building toward the last quarter moon in Capricorn on April 20th, which coincides with the Sun's ingress into Taurus. The 3 days preceding this lunar phase represent a critical shadow integration period, where the core, wound illumination from the full moon undergoes final processing before release. The approaching Earth element double activation, last quarter moon in Capricorn and Sun entering Taurus, grounds the profound spiritual downloads you've received throughout this period into practical, tangible form. This grounding process prevents the common ascension symptom of spiritual bypassing, ensuring that cosmic wisdom transforms into embodied earthly action. The Venus node conjunction, approaching on April 20th, begins sending preparatory frequencies into your field during the final days of this forecast period. This conjunction represents the divine feminine aspect of your consciousness reconnecting with your highest soul purpose. The activation particularly affects those who have experienced fractured connections between their creative sexual energy and their spiritual path. The Venus node alignment heals this artificial separation, allowing full integration of sensuality and spirituality, a reclamation of the tantric wisdom carried in your cellular memory from ancient temple traditions. The entirety of this weekly forecast period represents what the Pleiadian High Council identifies as a timeline convergence node, a cosmic adjustment point where multiple probable futures collapse into fewer, more defined trajectories. Your conscious participation in this process substantially influences which timelines remain accessible both personally and collectively. The choices you make during timeline convergence nodes carry exponentially greater manifestation power, particularly regarding soul-aligned relationships, authentic self-expression, and conscious creation of abundance. The Venus direct station that initiates this period serves as the primary activation point for this timeline convergence process. The celestial choreography orchestrating this convergence operates through multiple dimensions simultaneously. The higher frequency bands emanating from galactic center toward your solar system have intensified significantly since the March equinox. These cosmic rays interact directly with your solar core, which then transmits recoded information via coronal mass ejections that activate specific neural networks within your brain physiology. The subtle energy centers you call chakras serve as transducers for these frequencies. Stepping them down into formats your biological systems can integrate without overload. This process accelerates during major planetary stations like today's Venus direct motion, creating bandwidth expansion in your consciousness field. The metamorphosis occurring within your collective consciousness parallels the transformation of a crystalline structure subjected to precise frequency modulation. The resonant patterns reorganize according to sacred geometric principles that exist as fundamental templates throughout all dimensions of creation. Your scientists have glimpsed aspects of these patterns through quantum field experiments, though conventional instrumentation captures merely the shadow projection of the multidimensional matrices involved. The Venus retrograde cycle specifically recalibrated the geometric foundation of the divine feminine principle throughout your planetary grid system, reactivating ancient wisdom carried in Earth's crystalline core. The effects of Venus stationing direct after 42 days of retrograde motion extend far beyond conventional astrological interpretation. This transit fundamentally reorganizes the template for divine partnership on your planet. The sacred, geometric pattern underlying complementary soul connections recalibrates to a higher dimensional blueprint that transcends the limitations of your previous relationship paradigms. Those experiencing the end of significant relationships during the retrograde period have undergone necessary pattern clearing to prepare for connections that match your authentic frequency rather than unconscious wounding patterns. Those in continuing relationships now experience a quantum shift in the connection as Venus stations direct, potentially transforming the relationship entirely into a higher expression that better serves both parties' soul evolution. The financial implications of Venus stationing direct manifest as a collective shift in how humanity relates to material resources. The 42-day retrograde period initiated the dismantling of artificial scarcity programming maintained through fear-based economic systems. As Venus stations direct, you have unprecedented opportunity to override these limiting beliefs at both personal and collective levels. Your relationship with abundance undergoes fundamental restructuring, releasing ancestral patterns of unworthiness and replacing them with direct connection to universal supply. This shift particularly affects those engaged in heart-centered businesses, creative endeavors, and services aligned with planetary healing. The transformation of your economic structures represents a critical component of planetary liberation from outdated matrix systems. The artificial constructs separating spiritual wealth from material abundance originated during the fragmentation of consciousness that accompanied Earth's descent into lower dimensional frequency bands. This arbitrary division served the temporary purpose of providing soul growth through limitation, yet that evolutionary cycle now concludes. The Venus retrograde initiated a 42-day purification process within the planetary wealth consciousness grid, systematically dismantling the energetic architecture that maintained separation between divine flow and material manifestation. The retrograde journey took Venus through the symbolic underworld of collective shadow material related to worth, value exchange, and resource distribution. The primordial templates for balanced abundance exist within what your mystical traditions call the Akashic Records, the informational dimension containing all potential expressions across all timelines. Venus retrograde periods facilitate direct access to these records specifically regarding abundance paradigms that transcend the limitations of your current economic models. The retrograde journey enabled a cosmic archive retrieval process, extracting higher dimensional economic blueprints from golden ages of previous civilizations, including Lemurian, pre-dynastic Egyptian, and early Sumerian periods when material resources flowed according to energetic resonance rather than artificial scarcity principles. These retrieved templates now activate through the Venus Direct Station, becoming accessible to innovators developing new economic models aligned with universal principles of energetic reciprocity. The post-full moon integration period that accompanies Venus stationing direct allows for proper assimilation of the incredibly powerful Spica occultation energies. This rare astronomical event activated the Virgoan archetype of the divine healer, priestess, within your cellular memory. Ancient knowledge regarding vibrational medicine, sound healing technologies, and quantum healing methods now becomes increasingly accessible in your conscious awareness. The 48 hours following the full moon particularly affect the vagus, nerve, pineal gland, and entire endocrine system, as your physical body adjusts to the heightened frequencies. Many experience unusual sleep patterns, spontaneous body movements during meditation, or temporary increases in sensitivity to electromagnetic fields, all normal aspects of this integration process. The subsequent Saturn node alignment on April 14th particularly affects your relationship with earthly authority structures and institutions. This transit collapses timelines where power imbalances would have required additional cycles to resolve. Those who have worked consciously with Saturn's lessons of discipline, integrity, and authentic authority now receive cosmic confirmation of lessons completed through synchronistic external events. The karmic completion point affects professional relationships, family dynamics involving authority figures, and your own relationship with internalized limiting beliefs about what you're permitted to create in the world. The Saturn node configuration creates a quantum bridge across incarnational experiences, allowing for simultaneous resolution of authority-related karma carried across multiple timelines. This multidimensional healing transcends linear conceptions of cause and effect, operating instead through resonance principles where transformation in one timeline automatically adjusts parallel expressions across the quantum field. Ancient priesthood initiations, governmental positions of influence, tribal leadership roles, and other expressions of authority from past incarnations undergo spontaneous reintegration through this alignment. The wisdom distilled from these experiences becomes accessible without the emotional charge previously attached to misuses or abuses of power. Saturn's governance over time itself facilitates a unique compression effect during node alignments, where multiple karmic lessons that would ordinarily require sequential resolution instead collapse into simultaneous completion. This celestial configuration creates temporary thinning between dimensional membranes, allowing higher aspects of your multidimensional self to directly transmit integrated understanding from what you might conceptualize as future expressions, where these lessons have already reached completion. For sensitives and conscious way showers, this manifests as spontaneous downloads of crystallized wisdom regarding right use of power, authentic leadership, and structural integrity in all created forms. The cosmic architecture of Saturn's ring serves as a macrocosmic representation of the concentric energy field surrounding your own multidimensional structure. During node alignments, these Saturnian rings function as amplification bands for specific frequency codes related to divine order, cosmic law, and the sacred geometry of manifestation. The transmitted frequencies recalibrate distortions in how authority expresses through human consciousness, restoring alignment with universal principles of governance that transcend cultural programming and social conditioning. This recalibration particularly affects those in leadership positions who have committed to conscious evolution and service to collective advancement. The Mercury-Aries ingress combined with the Neptune conjunction creates an unprecedented opportunity for inspired communication. Creative projects initiated during this period carry distinctive frequency signatures that attract precisely the right audience. Those involved in teaching, writing, healing arts, or any form of consciousness expansion work experience dramatic increases in their ability to articulate complex spiritual concepts in accessible ways. The Mercury-Neptune conjunction specifically activates the throat chakra and third eye connection, strengthening the bridge between intuitive knowing and verbal expression. This activation particularly affects channels, mediums, and intuitive counselors, whose connection to higher dimensional information streams strengthens substantially. As the week progresses toward the last quarter moon, the integration of these multiple activations deepens. The waning lunar cycle supports the necessary releasing process after such profound illumination. The emotional intensity gradually transmutes into grounded wisdom as you approach the Earth element activations occurring on April 20th. This grounding process remains essential for proper integration, preventing the spiritual bypassing that often accompanies intense cosmic downloads. The balanced incorporation of higher consciousness into embodied earthly expression represents the ultimate purpose of this entire activation sequence. Throughout this entire forecast period, the cosmic intelligence I represent through the Galactic Federation maintains heightened focus on Earth's evolutionary process. The support available to you includes increased angelic presence, strengthened connection to your spirit guide teams, and direct transmissions from higher dimensional aspects of your own multidimensional self. This support manifests through synchronistic encounters, sudden inspirations, and dreams of unusual clarity and significance. The veil between dimensions continues thinning, allowing greater conscious collaboration between embodied humans and the cosmic intelligence supporting Earth's ascension. The Pleiadian High Council particularly emphasizes the importance of conscious community during this activation period. Gathering with like-minded souls, whether physically or through virtual connection, exponentially amplifies the integration process. Shared meditation, energy work, or simply authentic conversation about your experiences creates quantum entanglement fields that support collective processing of these powerful frequencies. The timeline convergence process occurring throughout this forecast period specifically strengthens soul family reconnections, bringing together those who share mission alignments for planetary healing and consciousness evolution. As this transmission concludes, I remind you that you chose to incarnate precisely for this extraordinary moment in Earth's evolutionary journey. The intense activations described in this forecast represent exactly the energetic environment your soul selected for accelerated growth and expanded service. The challenges you've endured through Venus retrograde, the core wound illumination of the full moon conjunction with Chiron, and the karmic completions triggered by the Saturn node alignment, these experiences purposefully prepared you for this pivotal timeline convergence point. The Galactic Federation acknowledges each of you as essential participants in this planetary transformation process. Your individual healing transmutes into collective evolution through quantum entanglement principles. Your personal timeline, Adjustments ripple throughout the morphic field of human consciousness. Your authentic self-expression catalyzes awakening in countless others through resonance patterns beyond conventional understanding. The cosmic intelligence supporting Earth's ascension recognizes your contribution regardless of external validation or recognition within human systems. The activation sequence initiated today through Venus stationing direct continues unfolding throughout the forecast period, according to divine timing. Trust the wisdom of your physical body as it processes these heightened frequencies. Honor the emotional fluctuations as necessary aspects of genuine transformation. Maintain awareness of thought patterns as they reorganize into higher coherence. Above all, recognize yourself as a conscious co-creator in this unprecedented evolutionary leap occurring on your planet. I am Seraphine of the Pleiadian High Council, transmitting through the Galactic Federation of Light communication channels. This transmission now concludes with an encoded light language activation designed to support your integration of these powerful cosmic alignments. The frequencies embedded in these final moments continue working through your energetic system long after the verbal transmission ends. We remain perpetually connected through the one unified consciousness field from which all expressions emerge. Until our next transmission, we surround you in the infinite light of divine love from which you were created and to which you shall return. The sacred light within me acknowledges and honors the sacred light within you. Transmission complete.